That's the story of your life.
That?
Being around very beautiful and successful people. You've always been surrounded by successful people. Reading about it was very interesting because you come from a very, very traditional family that did not like the idea of, you hanging around with celebrities or film stars.
Not at all.
Right?
But they embraced our Raj Kapoor Association the first time into a public domain known thing. We were, otherwise the parents would have not wanted it that way. But he just took to my parents as his parents. And then he introduced us, me particularly. We got very
This was in London?
It was London when, back when his film Sangam was being finished. It was early 60s, something like that.
And then you come to Bombay.
And then we are there. They won't let us have it any other way. No home, no. Chembur was my home. And all the kids, we were all brothers and sisters. All the marriages, everything. And Mrs. Raj Kapoor decided in London, before I had been to India, it has been many years I had not been to India. It was a myth I longed to, So anyhow, she said, she whispered one day to her husband's ear as we were coming out. I was driving them from somewhere back home. And she whispered something into his ear, and he said, "Khabardar, fir aisi baat kariye." So then I got scared, and I asked her later, what were you saying to him? So she said, I was telling him, we have to get Bina for Shami.
Shami Kapoor.
He had just become widowed. And he was very close to Bhabiji. And she was his everything, his sister.
Bhabiji is Mrs. Raj Kapoor. Krishna Kapoor.
Yeah. She was everybody's Bhabiji. She was just an angel, gorgeous, fabulous human being. So I said, how can you say Shami Kapoor? That was the first time I thought I heard, and I thought, are you joking? My parents will have the same reaction. Don't do it. Don't. And I've never seen his movie. He's not my type.
And he's a father of 2 children.
He's father of 2 children on top of that.
And you're unmarried,
and
young.
He smokes and he drinks and all. That's a no.
Then what happened?
No, then she didn't stop at that. She continued, and she already talked to him about it. And then maybe it was a few months later that we used to write letters to each other, she and I, lots of letters. And she said, I'm going to make my dream come true and things like that.
Yeah. So you were Raj Kapoor's Rakhi sister. And so she's Bhabiji, and you say that in his house, there used to be these parties where he would sit on the carpet and he'd have Lata Mangeshkar, Zohra Sehgal.
That used to be, yes, in his studio, the cottage.
In the cottage. So what was this cottage and home business? So there were times he would not go back to the home. He would stay on in the cottage.
No, I never knew of that. No,
you said that there was all of Raji's attendants would be on call, alert to every whim, provided maximum comfort and hospitality to the chosen guests. When Raji was in the mood, depending on his state of negotiations with his favourite Scotch whisky, we would be treated to rarefied hours of anecdotes. Yes. Cottage evenings also meant that Raji might not return home to Devnar that night.
Yeah, he would. That may be possible. There were times when he didn't come home. We all left. It was the RK studio, the famous studio where all these films were made, was 2 kilometers from their home. Many events would happen there, celebrations, etc. It would happen there, but from the beginning when they first brought me there, they took me there, Bhabiji, and I said, this is my sacred space. Only select few people come here. And then one other sacred place was up in the first floor where his last days with Nargis were there. They were very spiritual. So I wanted to see that too. And
what was that?
He was
a temple to Nargis?
He was a very passionate kind of a man with everything that he had done in his life. So there were various reasons. I don't know why this was very sacred for him, maybe. And he was a very romantic man. He got deeply involved and he could understand. He had 7th perception, not just 6th. He could foresee, he had vision very often of talking about what was possible in human beings, men and women that were creative. He would talk about, and I was not from this world at all. But when I met him, then I connected that he used to talk a lot about Rishikesh Mukherjee. That was the name, I think. Was he was he a tall man?
Rishikesh Mukherjee, reasonably, yes. He was a filmmaker.
Yes, he was a filmmaker. Great films he made.
Yes.
He had the
films.
greatest admiration, and he would talk about him a lot.
Okay, the different kinds of films.
Different
that
kind
Rishi-
of disciplines
Okay.
also he would talk about, and talk about their, like Zora Sehgal. There was another lady called Leela. Something he his father had a romance with Leela. Very beautiful, like Devika Rani type from that era.
Okay.
Maybe a little younger.
Huh.
And the things he said, I was young and child, but I saw my father's, that kind of, then he would describe the kind of romance and the depth and how they, and then how the husband saw it and supported it because he saw in it a truth. And then Chaiji, Papaji's wife, Babaji's mother, would also look the other way. And there were descriptions like you're watching a movie screen. I hadn't seen many Hindi movies in my life. The first Hindi one might have been Sangam.
Sangam.
We were not allowed to see movies.
Ah, okay. And here you were
could sneak
exposed
out
to
and see
these
in English.
parties, or you said that Dilip Kumar's sister Farida Khan
She was a good friend.
was
She
a
used to-
friend of yours.
Yeah, she used to describe me.
And then you say that you met the younger Bollywood crowd then, which was Vinod Khanna, Kabir Bedi, Protima Bedi, Persis Kambata, Simi Grewal. And Protima and Simi, some of these became your friends. You continued with this friendship.
Protima was like a soul sister. I feel I communicate with her. There's something very precious. She came from a very conservative Gupta family, I believe, from UP maybe or Rajasthan, I'm not sure. But something about her attracted me, and I don't know what. I had to learn things. Yeah.
And then there were others you met. You met the entire Kapoor family. Let me go into your romance with Shami Kapoor a little bit. Was he that forbidden fruit which attracted you to him and him to you?
The truth is that I had already decided that it's not for me. I wasn't attracted to him like forbidden fruit because I immediately was drawn to him. I was not. I was the phobia of upsetting my family was the number one. You couldn't do anything to upset the family from childhood. It was you never questioned.
So you didn't allow yourself
No.
to fall in love with him
No.
initially?
So the very first time when I arrived in India, and Raji had never spoken to me about him, but I had heard his displeasure of it, and he didn't even want to bring the subject to me. It was an unacceptable thing. So it just so happened that every Christmas Eve in Bombay, traditionally Raji would take some particular hotel at the dining table, and they would celebrate Christmas Eve. And I just landed the day before Christmas Eve to Bombay, straight to the Chembur house. So I arrived at Babiji. We went a little late, and they were all seated. So when she had warned Shami that you will see her on this day. I'll bring her for a while. I think Raj Kapoor had told her not to bring me. I think she wasn't supposed to. Whatever. She decides after. Let's do that. Besides, I had a cousin who had lived with me in London a lot, and she had invited me to dinner to her home. So I was to go there. So in any case, I came for a short while. So I go. I'm walking around there. He is at the end of one head of the table, Raj on the other side of the table. So I first meet Raj, and I'm introduced to, I don't know any of them. And then he greets me, and he looks. I'm seeing he's looking straight into my eyes, as if he's trying to give a message. I don't know. So I just looked away right away. I just glanced and I saw that he's trying to talk with his eyes. He's trying to say whatever. I don't know what he was reading too deeply into me. He had heard a lot. Maybe she had pushed it too much. I don't know. So and then when we left, she said, Kya? I said, I'm too scared. No, it's not for me. Please, and don't promote this.
But he pursues you, and
The next meeting arranged was then Chembur in Juhu, was in Prithvi Theatre somewhere. There, he was there alone with another friend or two, and my sister, immediately older, was my kind of guardian. And I used to call her a spy. She was my guardian. She knew.
But he used to call you GA.
And he used to. He tried to say in many different languages how
That he loved you.
me, and I couldn't say it back to him.
Why
This is
couldn't
now
you
just
say?
right.
You
I
you
was
didn't
just
fall in love
locked
with him?
Never once.
But you still loved him in a way.
Yes, I began to love him very much.
Despite getting married to somebody
Loved him
else.
very much. I still do. There's a special kind of love.
You've met him several times after that, after your marriage, and then your second marriage. You again met him.
He met George. They got on well, and he invited us over. And Neela.
So there's this enduring love. Is your love with
enduring love? Yeah, absolutely.
with the
Yes.
with the Shami Kapoor, right?
Yes, yes.
So and you get married to this person, an arranged marriage, and as soon as he hears that you've got married, he finds another person and he gets married the day he thinks that you're coming to India.
True.
And he gets married in the same temple where he had said he would marry you.
Yes, correct. Where he had married Geeta. Bali.
Yeah, but that's what Geeta Bali has passed away. Then he tells you that this is the date I'm going to get married to you.
2nd of Jan. I'm already gone to San Francisco.
And he finds...
and he had, Bhabiji told me that he was with his two best friends. They had gone hunting. And who were also by now very close to me. They all used to play beard, as you say. Sometimes we would meet.
And you say that...
he just stretched out on the plane and began to yell and scream, and he read it in the newspaper. Bina Ramani weds Andy Ramani and whatever.
And he was heartbroken.
Just totally. He just went berserk completely. And they, in those days of 7 days, he had said, it's a sacred 7 days, we never drink. We're out there hunting tiger or whatever, wildlife. And so I don't know how he went completely.
But when you...
berserk, apparently.
You didn't break up with him because you weren't involved with him at that stage, but you knew he had proposed to you.
He was
already.
gone. Yeah, many a time we had talked about it.
But you never broke the news to him that you're getting married.
I had no idea, no. I didn't know. The shocking thing is, it is exactly a year, Christmas Eve. He has left on the jungles. I am introduced to a man called Andy Ramani by my Taya. Used to arrange everybody's marriages. He was a well-known Sindhi doctor. So my parents now, my sister had got married. Now they wanted to go back to London, which means take me. I didn't take any because I had not approved anybody for marriage. And said, all right, well, what are we doing in Bombay? We don't have a home here, we go. So, or you have said no to all the other proposals, last one. That's what happened. I didn't say yes or anything. I said no. No, but I mean, it was like a predestined thing. So what happens, and he's not my height. He's 10 years older. He's not somebody I would look like a match seeing together with. But so we are made to see each other again. I mean, it's a stupid. I've done many stupid things in life.
You had Shami Kapoor,
I know.
and you marry somebody who's so
what happened?
unsuitable as compared to Shami Kapoor.
I just wanted my parents put so much pressure on me and their aunts and uncles. They had put so much pressure.
And you had no agency of your own to say no?
No, never. We could never question, never could.
So there's this very orthodox Sikh family that you come from where you cannot marry a Shami Kapoor because one, Raji wouldn't approve. Raj Kapoor wouldn't
Raj
approve.
would be the one. And then there is a thing.
And there's this one paragraph which I found so fascinating. And all of us have this image of Shami Kapoor, right? That he's this boisterous singing and, this Yahoo Shami Kapoor.
He hated all that.
He hated that image.
He hated it. He built when we would meet in the night at my cousin's home staircase, and she had her boyfriend up on the roof, and he was even afraid to hold my hand. I was fine with holding hands with him. I mean, he was just treating me like some precious, I don't know what, you cannot touch sort of thing. But lots of poetic words and building up life ahead. And if he said, I am doing this because my producers are making me money. They're making money. And I'm the only one who this role seems to be fitting. So I have to do it for the audiences. And I'm signed one after the other, and all roles like this.
And he had this...
So I romanced the heroines.
Thousands of women falling for him,
right,
and acting opposite this gorgeous looking women, and here he is pouring his heart out to you, asking you to marry him, and you dump him.
I went with a broken heart. I didn't. I guess what? Second was the day we were to marry, right? On the 2nd of this thing. And at the 25th, I'm introduced to Andy Ramani. I say, no, okay, one more time, meet him alone, but his parents say. And that kind of, it was the weirdest thing, which no other girl would, I don't know what it was. I always used to feel punished when I wanted to do things and parents would say no. It was understood that I couldn't have my way because I was a second generation child. They had grandchildren when I was born. I couldn't think like the rest of the family. So I nurtured my dreams quietly. Many rejections I got from things I wanted to do, be an architect, be a beautician, be whatever. Anything I'd ask, I would say, don't even think about it, marriage, whatever.
And I think I'm going to let people read the book to see the most, I think one of the most unromantic proposals of all times was when he proposed to you, Andy proposed to you.
He had a girlfriend in San Francisco, and he had come to attend his younger brother's wedding. So he tells me, you've come with wealth and grown up with luxury and all. I don't know any of that. I cannot offer. I'm just an Air India manager. 3 states of America and a small section, California and whatever, Nevada, etc. And I own nothing. It's a company flat. There's a car. There's a TV. I own the TV and the bookshelf, books.
And you said yes to that.
I began to feel so sorry. I don't
I'm
know
sorry,
what
I'm laughing,
stupid of
but
me.
I just find it incredible that somebody would not marry a Shami Kapoor and marry.
I didn't dare allow myself to think that it could happen.
He says, you write here, he says, the flamboyant and boisterous lover boy with, because that's what my audience wants from me over and over again.
Yes, he used to say
He
that.
sighed in resignation. I really dislike that person. I'm completely the opposite in real life, but unfortunately, nobody gets to see that side of me. I love Western classical music. I read books on philosophy and history. I read biographies. Do you think my audience would believe that about me?
Yeah,
Is that why he sought a relationship with you? Because he could be him?
Yes, he could be him, and I would absorb, I would embrace that. Yes, totally.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, how will I ever get past my parents? I can't even ask such a question. All my simple questions have been rejected. I used to think I'm not destined. But it was dream times when I would hear all these things. And on the phone, the long chats on the phone.
So before Andy comes in, there's also David of Faridkot who proposes to you.
There's Onkar of Apollo Tires.
Apollo Tires, right? Now these are all perfect matches.
Yeah, I know they were, but then I didn't like them. No, I didn't like Andy Ramani either, but him that night of this, it was like a feeling sorry for someone, so should I rescue? It was, I think of it later, what the hell was I thinking?
So here's a film actor, then there is a royalty, somebody from a royal family, Faridkot royal family, and there is an industrialist.
With him,
and these are all highly successful. See, the reason I'm bringing this out is if anybody thinks that Bina Ramani is a gold digger, he's not.
Oh, no, I'll tell you the other reason why.
Because that is what was said about you in those horrible media trials. That you wanted that life and you chased that life.
I reject my family is so angry with me most of the time because they're ready to help me, but they want me to be. I have a variety of ways of living, a lap of luxury with fancy cars. I grew up at age 29, at 21. I had a Mercedes car, and I would be embarrassed to go around because I never wanted. There was too much wealth. I was growing up in London. London was still rising from the Second World War, etc.
There was also the Bina tone.
The Bina tone, all
Please
of that.
Tell
I was
me about
embarrassed. People would talk about Bina tone. I never wanted to be. I am not that.
Your name was on a product.
Yes, I like to see the fruit of my hard work. I don't want to be lavished with other people's wealth. I just cannot. Yes, when I was in hospital for the 4 months and Medanta, I knew that it was going to be very difficult. I didn't have insurance and it was going to cost a packet. But before I could even think of it, they had already signed directly, my family, to spare no cost, etc. So I just walked away. But these kind of things I'm constantly doing because if I knew, then I would try and fight it. I just don't like taking. They know that. That's what... And he was the only one. I tell you, Faridkot was telling me about his 67 cars, and you'll have a different sari for each car to match, etc. And Onkar also kind of wanted to measure his wealth. I couldn't. And then Shami was, Shami was. I really loved him, and I love him more after seeing that when he did marry, after all, he did go into simplicity. He did quit
Religion. He found a
found
guru and
spiritual path,
Yeah.
on which he invited me, and I joined them one time, and I met that Guruji. And I was in my difficult years of marriage. I went through very difficult times. Divorce and all of that took a long time. I was reading autobiography of Yogi 3-4 times, and a lot of other spiritual books of which he was aware. So we realized that we both. I mean, I was the one to blame, nothing to do with me. So we did have a chance to talk about it. I always, when I became stronger and independent, I think one of the reasons why I married Andy, deep down inside, I could smell independence, freedom. I craved freedom. And he was living in San Francisco. He looked like a very independent type. No man talks like that unless he's a modern thinker or whatever. I don't know what it was. I felt I will find myself. I've been cramped all my life. Here I'll be able to find who I really am. With Shami Kapoor, yes, he was larger than life. I loved the idea. I was brought up to be a wife, and I knew I would be a wonderful wife, etc. But anyhow,
But
I did. I tell you, from Andy Ramani, I learned who I am. I had to go through a lot of hardships. At $3,000 was his salary, and between the rent, and we had no money, and we had to live within a budget. And I never complained. It was fine. I found discount places to buy things that would see us through the month and all of that.
But you were deeply unhappy in that marriage.
Yes, I was. I had some happy times. I have 2 lovely daughters. There were some happy times, and we made friends of our generation and others, couples we had.
There were ups and downs, like in any marriage.
Largely downs.
And then Adil comes into your life.
Who's Adil?
When you spoke about...
the artist.
The artist, yeah. Who's Adil?
The reason is not...
I love it.
Love it more after the show.
Okay, so Adil comes into your life and you have this rollicking affair with Adil, right? Did it matter a lot at that time? And he doesn't know that you're having an affair with Adil.
No, he was pushing it. He was fed up with me. I wanted to love him. I was trying to fulfill, all the things that Shami used to say to me. I had not heard from anybody. I was using them on Andy, trying to make him feel beloved. And I was a slave at look up recipes and have candlelight, beautiful dinner laid out for 2 minutes before he'd come home. But he would avoid coming home. He had broken a girlfriend's heart who was living there with him.
Yeah.
And so I suffered, prayed every night, played sad music. And I mean, my life, I didn't know anybody. I'd walk down the street in the daytime.
So you're hunting for that love.
Hunting for that love. I was pouring it to him so much that and I look back and I think he must have thought she's such a fake. He was a very realist.
With this Adil comes
During
everywhere.
marriage, we had no children.
Yeah.
He just, he was so much, he reminded me so much of Shami Kapoor.
And
It
you were
scared
ready
me.
to leave
Again,
Andy.
same thing happened last minute. Last minute it was to happen.
And Adil was supposed to meet you in London. And then suddenly Andy
I
calls
go to
you.
London, yeah.
It was a trial separation. And
Yes.
you say that he wept on the phone and said, give me another chance. And you go back to your husband.
I'll be your Majnu. Never spoken language like that before. I didn't speak much Hindi that way. And
So-
anything you say and all that, I was thinking, oh no, don't. I was looking at him, how you never say these things. I've never heard you like, I was feeling, wow, he's gone so low for me now. I mean, I'm so happy. But, then I went home and whatever.
And you say that you could love
broke the heart so badly.
Adil, and at the same time, Andy is your husband, and there's this small place in your heart which still
possible.
is occupied by Shami.
Yes.
And you say it's possible.
It's possible. You can be a multifaceted person. I am a total multifaceted person.
That's not facet. You're in love with 3 people,
Yes,
3
you
men.
can be, for different reasons. They're compartmentalized.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll just
I
read
keep
out.
my-
You said, I now believed that it was perfectly possible to love several people simultaneously and keep the relationships neatly apart without hurting anyone, if it was sensibly and sensitively handled. How did you handle it sensibly and sensitively? By not telling the
Luckily,
other?
they were. My husband was there, but the ability of my husband's not being difficult was that he had no interest in me. He was just, especially in the early time of my marriage, before the children were born, he just. I mean, we had one other Indian couple, best friends of his, who were watching what a struggle I am having in the marriage, and they knew Adil, and we had done evenings out together, and he'd be for dinner, and he would say, do you think, is he in love with you? How come he's talking like this? So the guest said, the doctor friend of ours, but can't you see? Are you blind? It's been going on. So he said, good for her. She'd get off my back. That was I used to do a lot for him and put "I love you" little message in his shoe, and then I'd help him put his tie on. Then I'd stick another little message there when he opens a tie. I mean, it was really I was in love with an image which I fitted Andy into for 2 years.
You said you were celibate for the first 3 months.
I was celibate for the first 3 months, correct.
In your marriage. So to
me, it was a shock. I couldn't understand it then, but in hindsight, I realized that he was a man of the world, of his own world. He was inside of the travel industry, good at what he was doing, and suddenly he's lumped with a wife. He's gone to attend his brother's wedding, and he's had his joy with his girlfriend for the last 2-3 years. What does he do with it? I can see it from his point of view. He wasn't a larger or kind of had big major dreams. He was not that. I grew up with that.
Okay, whatever he had, I'm trying to look at your mind where you are
he
legally
treated me very narrow, with no patience.
You're legally married to one person.
Yes.
Emotionally, you are still connected with Shami Kapoor, and in physical terms, you are attracted to Adil.
Yeah, it's a security. Knowing emotionally, it's a sense of security, I have to say, that there is this incredible feeling that I have. It's a sense of security is the right word I can think of. And I always was a romantic, was always completely
so
compressed.
You needed 3 compartments.
Yes.
And you're saying it's like 3 desserts.
Yes, exactly. You're right. Did I say that? It is
yeah,
true.
You've written that. You said
yes.
It's like loving 3 different desserts equally or having 3 best friends.
Yes, and
or
3 different flavors.
Songs.
Absolutely, It's not vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate. It's 3 flavors of chocolate because I only like chocolate.
So monogamy is not something that you believe in?
No. I believe in monogamy. Hello, physically, yes. But
physically.
We have the power of the mind.
Okay.
And the soul.
But even physically, because you explain that these are man-made dogmas of staying in just one relation. You talk about how Krishna and
I have always
gopis.
questioned that. I've been fascinated with that, and I'm learning now. In fact, I'm learning that a lot currently. I've never given up. That the Radha that Jai Radha, Re Radha, she's actually the mistress. Hai na? I mean, we say Radha Krishna, Hari, I'm not familiar with these terms.
Firstly, historically, it seems there is no Radha, but mythologically.
But why is it that every Hindu worshipper venerates Radha equally as much? Nobody knows his wife's names. Why is it? Because there's so many types of love. There's a fragrance of love, for lack of the right word, that you have so many different fragrances that can awaken you and empower you. It's like that. Different people, you have so many friends, different friends, and you love them for different reasons. You have that capacity in you.
Do you think it's Raj Kapoor who instilled this definition of love in
maybe
with
it's
you?
my own, not that he gave it to me, it's awakening at all
Absorb
times.
That.
I wish now in my life, I mean since about 15, 20 years, I've been questioning it, but I'm learning more each time. I wish he and I could sit across, and this would be an amazing subject. I wish Shami would. He's extremely intelligent. In many ways, he's intellectual out of the 3. And
because Raj Kapoor is known to have loved and never left many.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And that's
he's a complete romantic. More so than most actors, in fact. He was the real romantic. But he got passionate about some of the relationships that brought a lot of pain around, particularly that Vijayanti Mala episode and so on. But he gets carried away, I suppose. But I'm telling you that human beings have that capacity, the same depth, but of a different kind.
Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching ANI podcast with Smita Prakash.
अगर हम उसको मस्जिद कहेंगे तो फिर विवाद होगा।
The issue is टूटा है क्या भारत?
400 पार का मतलब ये है कि संविधान खतरे में है।
क्या हम लोग ये निर्देश देते हैं कि फला को गिरफ्तार करके जेल डाल दें?
वही तो कह रहे हैं सब।
ये बेबुनियाद निराधार आरोप।
सच्चा सुनना चाहो देखो स्मिता प्रकाश ANI, it does not lie.